Okay, so if you caught the Grammys and watched the live performance of Chapel Roan on Pink Pony Club, if you're a Louis fan, you might see why I say that he needs to do a cover version of this song, but switch out LA for London. Okay, so I noticed that Forbes covered. I don't know why would Forbes cover this? I guess maybe because Harry's House and Watermelon Sugar somehow resurged on the charts. It didn't hit number one again, but probably made some money. I still don't know why Forbes would cover it because, well, if you have a PR machine with you, that's why. So, if I were to write a Forbes article on Louis Tomlinson, what are some things that I put in it? Well, obviously his business ventures outside music. So, well, outside music meaning when he's not on stage. So, one would be the Triple Strings Limited, which is his music management company that he established to develop new artists. Then there's 78 Productions, which is the record label he founded in 2023. Then there's the Away from Home Festival that he launched in 2021. Now, apparently he at one point owned the Doncaster Rovers Football Club. He attempted to purchase it first in 2014. Didn't fall. It fell through. He did purchase it, and then I see reports that he no longer owns it. So anyway, that would at least be included in the historical portfolio. Fashion line collaborations with brands like Adidas. Does anyone know any tea about that? Because when I think of fashion line, I think of 28. So I don't know. I think this is. See, I told you Google sometimes sucks. So I'm going to say the 28 line. And then there's the Louis Tomlinson Foundation, which is a charity to support children with serious illnesses. So a lot of his ventures are music adjacent and leverages his, obviously now his seasoned knowledge of the industry and the fame that he's cultivated beyond One Direction. And of course, as always, the talented singer-songwriter. I think he's double brain dominant, okay? Double brain dominant means your left brain and right brain equally strong, and the right brain is a creative side, the left brain is the logical side, so math, calculation, analysis, like any kind of logic, structured, sequential function, science, left brain. Songwriting, dancing, performing, artistry, right brain. So, I am obsessed with the song Pink Pony Club, and when I first heard it, I mean, Chapel Roan owns it, that's her song, and it's like a really beautiful story about how she first performed it like outside in a park and then from her room, because after her record deal, her first record deal fell through, she went back home to Minnesota and then went back to LA. So, interestingly, the song first came out 4 years ago, but it's like this year is when the song really seems to hit. And she performed at the Grammys and said, "Sing it," and everyone's singing along with her. So it's like a real triumph, and it goes to show that she could have given up, but she didn't, and she gave it one more shot. So when I heard that song, as much as I loved the aesthetic, and it did give me some old Cyndi Lauper vibes back when Cyndi Lauper first came on the scene and had that punk look. But if you listen to the lyrics, I think when with everything we know about Louis, his music adjacent ventures, and just his I'm gonna say ruthless in a really positive light, but his almost steely-eyed determination, despite all the things that weren't in his corner. It's like this song, he could totally own this song, don't you think? And I kind of I've begun calling him Louis the Lionhearted because it took an awful lot of courage. And maybe if he wasn't that confident, I mean, he had to have been confident to audition in the first place, but whatever confidence he had in like 2010 when he first auditioned, it's like, I think that the confidence between now and then is like exponentially much larger because, the hardest person to convince in this world is yourself of your own value, worth, and capacity. And Louis Tomlinson, you've proven it, not just to you, who's the only person that kind of matters, but to a lot of other people. So if you haven't heard Pink Pony Club, listen to the song. So if we were to switch it out, I could see Louis singing, I know you wanted me to stay, but I can't ignore the crazy visions of me in, well, I guess we'll have to keep LA. And I hear that there's a special place where boys and girls can be queens every single day. So there's this song calling him, and the song that's calling her to go to LA, and she kind of made it. So I think that Louis could probably find a way to, slightly modify it respectfully so he could own it. But if anyone really deserves to be singing this song and the intention and the inspiration behind it would also be Louis Tomlinson, because he has Chappell Roan. She's just kind of all of a sudden out there, and it was a long time in the making. It was like a slow climb, then all of a sudden it was overnight. It looks overnight, but it's same with Louis, and Louis almost had to kind of make it twice. He had to make it twice getting in the band, and then he had to make it twice all over again, where nothing he did in the band, like he couldn't even leverage it, sort of like the doors were closed, and he had to do it all over again, despite all that was achieved in One Direction with having the most writing credits, which, you got to think about it. Like, most people would just give up and they'd be like, what the hell? But for him to keep persevering, that tells you something. It tells you that he really wanted it, and he was willing to do it his own way, and he was gonna, make it on his own, do his own imprint, everything. And that tells you that for someone to persevere in the face of obstruction, damn it, the last time we saw a British bulldog or a British lion-esque kind of persona, Winston Churchill. I mean, didn't Winston Churchill say, like, back when he was doing I think it was like the nightly radio broadcast to the British public when World War II was raging, and that they kept having, like, London was being blitzed every night by the Germans. Winston Churchill still would come on the BBC, and there was that famous speech. Okay, what's the quote? I need to find the quote. Okay. So Winston Churchill famously declared in a powerful speech, "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender," which was emphasizing the unwavering support, unwavering resolve during World War II. And actually, I was wrong. This quote comes from a speech he delivered to the House of Commons in June of 1940, which was a pivotal moment because the Battle of France was going on, and the British expeditionary force was retreating from the continent. And it was considered a rallying cry for the British people that they were going to be determined to resist getting invaded, even though France had fallen to the Germans. So that was a real bummer when that happened, when Paris fell. And yet, Winston Churchill said, "We ain't never going to give up." And he kind of had to be the rock and the force of the British people, because literally every night they were being blitzed. Look up the Blitz. Blitz means, well, Blitz comes from Blitzkrieg, which is like blitz, lightning. But in the case of Britain in the 1940s, it wasn't really pleasant. So I kind of think that, like, when you hear references and metaphors of Churchill to the bulldog or the lion, which is the courage, that's Louis Tomlinson. So if I was to write a Forbes article, I would talk about the backstory, about how, like, as if nothing mattered anymore, even despite all the success, yet he still persevered. And if anything was a battle, it was that. I mean, that's almost similar to where Britain was after France fell to the Germans, that he still, we're not giving up, motherfucker. And same thing with Louis. So he may not be prime minister, although, God, if he became prime minister, that would be so awesome. But he has the resolve, and he's got the conviction. And in life, people that have a backbone have conviction, and people that come through when it's not the best of times, those are the true friends. And so many times life could have broken this guy, and he just found it in him. And I think that maybe it's a testament. It's like, we don't know this guy, but probably a testament to, his siblings, his grandparents, his friends. I mean, very few celebrities still are close friends with people they grew up with, and apparently he is. So that says something about that. Anyways, so let's see. So what else would I write in a Forbes article about Louis Tomlinson? I'd probably talk about how I think we'd have to talk about his ability to get out of psycho in such a way that it didn't require going into like litigation, which crippled George Michael. If you look at any artist that went against the record label in court, it's pretty ugly. So let's see, what can I find here? Now, I wanted to do a little sidestep too, is that when I fell down the rabbit hole for One Direction for Larry, it couldn't have come at a more brilliantly timed time. So it was late October, kind of coming up to November, and the U.S. election was November 5th. So about 3 weeks before, I was really down the rabbit hole because I was really just sad that that Liam died the way he did. And after the election, and ever since then, it's only been this crescendo of like a roller coaster. I swear it was Larry Stylinson that took my mind off just the juggernaut that it has been in the news here in the United States. Like, I can't even begin, I won't even start to summarize what's been going on. Kind of like an exponential just change in scenery politically in the United States. But there is a high stress level that's happening, and there's a lot of fear because of this rapid change. And I can see how the need for distraction is so important, and it's not because we're trying to run away. It's just we need to self-preserve. And if I can just have 1 or 2 hours, one in the morning, one in the evening, where I'm just fangirling Louis, that will save my sanity a lot. And I don't want to take anything, as in like Valium, which honestly, I could see why people take it sometimes. Just the level of stress and intensity and fear that's just going on all at once. It's like firing in all cylinders, what's happening. And I'm not making any political statement. I'm not making any criticism. I'm just saying there's such a change in how things used to be done and how they're being done now that it's just like, whoa. And of course the news always will have something so negative. It's nonstop, 24/7 news cycle. And it's like we're bombarded, right? So that's why you have to be almost careful with social media. And that is why I want to focus on the Louis and how he just kept going. You know why? Because in a way, the sun will come out tomorrow. And if there's anyone who has shown us that the sun will come out tomorrow, it's this guy. So, Louis Tomlinson, building a business empire beyond the spotlight. So in an entertainment industry where success often proves fleeting, former One Direction star Louis Tomlinson has strategically diversified his portfolio, well beyond hit singles and sold-out tours. The 33-year-old artist has quietly built a business ecosystem that leverages his music industry expertise while expanding into new territories. Tomlinson's most significant business venture came with the 2023 launch of 78 Productions, an independent record label that embodies his vision for artist development. Unlike traditional labels, 78 Productions emphasizes long-term artist growth over quick commercial returns, a philosophy shaped by Tomlinson's own experiences navigating the music industry. I wanted to create the kind of label I wish I had when starting out. Tomlinson told Music Business Weekly in a rare interview about his business endeavors, one that prioritizes artistic integrity and sustainability. This artist-centric approach extends to the Triple String Limited, Tomlinson's music management company, focused on discovering and developing emerging talent. Industry analysts note that while many celebrity-backed ventures rely heavily on the founder's fame, Tomlinson has assembled experienced teams and maintained a hands-on role in operations. The Away From Home Festival, launched in 2021, represents his most ambitious venture. The boutique music festival, curated entirely by Tomlinson. So he's not just lending like his, public image. He's not just a poster boy. This is like he's in the game of it. Has grown from a one-day event to a multi-day experience, attracting over 25,000 attendees in 2024. The festival has been praised for its artist-friendly environment and commitment to showcasing independent music alongside established acts. Tomlinson's business interests have extended beyond music as well. And so then, he tried to purchase Doncaster Rovers, but I need to find out what's going on with that one because I keep hearing conflicting reports. Then there's also the 28 line and then the foundation. So this is going to need to be fact-checked, but financial experts estimate that Tomlinson's business empire now generates annual revenues exceeding £15 million, with particularly strong growth in his festival and label operations. More importantly, these ventures have established Tomlinson as a legitimate entrepreneur rather than simply another celebrity attaching their name to products. What distinguishes Tomlinson's approach is his commitment to building sustainable businesses rather than quick cash grabs. Notes entertainment industry analyst Sarah Reynolds. He's created a blueprint for artists looking to extend their careers beyond performance. A traditional music industry revenue model as traditional music industry revenue models continue evolving, Tomlinson's diversified business portfolio offers a case study in how artists can leverage their expertise and influence to build lasting empires. For Tomlinson, success is no longer measured solely in streams and chart positions, but in building businesses that may ultimately outlast his performing career. So it's almost like I read this to be like, almost like an FU, Simon, and industry people. I don't need you. I won't need you. It's like, I have enough of my own money. I'll just create my own industrial complex, right? And I couldn't help but think when I was like looking at some of these preliminary findings as kind of reminds me of Andrew Carnegie. So if you look up Andrew Carnegie, I don't know if anyone here has heard of him, but there's the Carnegie Foundation. Andrew Carnegie, also a bit of a Horatio Alger figure and a rags to riches person, originally from Scotland but came to the United States. Let me double check this one. Okay. So apparently Andrew Carnegie was, Scottish American, industrialist and philanthropist. And it was Carnegie that led the expansion of the American steel industry in the late 19th century, which made him one of the richest Americans in history. And what is his little humble... Okay, so here's his humble origin. Born in... I think I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Born in Dunfermline, Scotland, then immigrated to what is now Pittsburgh when he was 12. And... what was the story? Because Andrew Carnegie was not born into money. But I've always known Scottish people to be really, practical and really industrious. And they make really good engineers. Like, Scotland and Germany and, Asia, they make good engineers. But he was also known for giving away a lot of his wealth, founded a lot of universities. So I kind of see Louis as kind of an Andrew Carnegie kind of person, right? But the reason why I say that is that it's almost like it was harder probably back in the day to do it on your own, because now we have Spotify, we have YouTube, we have social media. You can be completely self-generated. Not totally if you want to have the liquidity of assets, like money to bankroll you, but if you look at Megyn Kelly, the former news broadcaster from NBC and Fox. Like, she has her own podcast on YouTube, and she has said, like, I don't want to, I love doing this because I can just say what I want, and she's got full editorial control. And a lot of the fans just went and subscribed to her channel, and so she doesn't kind of need a contract, right? Like, she doesn't need to go back to a network. Same with Brett Cooper after she left. So I'm not mentioning these names because I am making a political statement. I'm just, they've been trending on YouTube, or at least I remember Megan Kelly from her NBC show, and Brett Cooper has been dominating YouTube with her like exit. So yeah, they didn't need another network to pick them up. They just did it themselves. It's a little easier now because we've got these platforms. But back in Andrew Carnegie's day, you kind of needed to connect in with the system, with the infrastructure. So what else can I tell you?